Undercover CEO discovers waitress hiding bread. What he revealed changed his life forever. The bell above the diner door jingled as Tom stepped into the warm, inviting chaos of Marge's diner. It was a stark contrast to his sterile boardroom. Tom, the wealthy owner, shed his suit for the snug, grease-stained uniform of a busboy in an attempt to reconnect with a world he had long abandoned. As he wiped down tables, the aroma of bacon and fresh coffee wrapped around him like a comforting blanket. Yet amid the laughter and chatter of patrons, a heaviness lingered, unnoticed by most. He quickly noticed Sarah, the 30-year-old waitress who moved with a grace and determination that belied the weight on her shoulders. With each order she took, she seemed to pour her heart into her work for her ailing mother waiting at home. Tom watched as she smiled through the exhaustion, quick to share leftovers with the customers who lingered too long, always just shy of affording another meal. His heart ached as he caught her discreetly hiding day-old bread behind the counter, a lifeline for a family struggling under the burden of medical bills. In those moments, time slowed. He was acutely aware of the tears clinging to Sarah's eyes as she glanced around at the lunch crowd. Each hidden muffin and untouched slice of pie told a story of sacrifice. Her pride clashed with her desperation. For the first time, Tom saw not a waitress but a fierce warrior, fighting to keep her family afloat while navigating the uncertainties of life. Should he intervene? Offering help would surely strip her of dignity, yet remaining silent felt equally inadequate. As he balanced plates, Tom couldn't shake the impact Sarah's resilience had on him. A fire ignited within him, a desire to do something meaningful outside the realms of corporate ambitions. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. One busy afternoon, the diner echoed with life, but the urgency of Tom's thoughts drowned out the chatter. He couldn't help but approach Sarah, offering discreet financial support. She bristled, her pride flaring as she met his gaze. "I don't need charity," she snapped, the vulnerability in her eyes igniting his frustration. As much as he wanted to lift her burden, he now found himself trapped in a web of misunderstandings. Yet, just when it seemed they'd drift apart like two ships in the night, Sarah opened up, revealing the sacrifices that had shaped her. Love fueled her fierce independence, but the shadow of looming debts cast a darkness that threatened to swallow her whole. Then came the announcement that shook their small town: a corporate chain aimed to buy Marge's diner. Fears erupted amongst the loyal community members who had gathered that evening, echoing the uncertainty simmering inside both Sarah and Tom. How could he stand aside as the very heart of the town faced commercial erasure? With stakes rising and time running out, Tom stared into Sarah's determined eyes and felt a stirring within himself. This wasn't just about a diner, it was about fighting for a spirit, a community. As they stood on the brink of change, both knew that something monumental was about to unfold. He was torn. Would his ambition shatter the bridge he was beginning to forge with Sarah, or could he rally behind her cause and redefine something as simple yet profound as home? The sun dipped low in the sky, casting a warm golden glow through the diner's windows. Patrons lingered, their laughter echoing like a nostalgic soundtrack against the clinking dishes. Yet beneath the surface excitement, a storm brewed. Tom watched as the town bled emotion, a mix of anger, fear, and a desperate hope for change. He felt it too, a swelling sense of purpose igniting in him. This was no longer just about saving a diner, it was about preserving the heart of their community, where families gathered, stories were shared, and dreams were born. Tom cleared a table, his mind racing. He hadn't spoken much since their last confrontation. There was an unsaid understanding hanging between him and Sarah. They were both essentially fighting the same enemy, but their approaches couldn't be more different. He started to wonder how he could assist her without trampling the pride she wore as armor. As the last customer settled their check, he approached Sarah, his pulse quickening. This time, he wouldn't offer handouts, he needed to encourage her to stand tall and embrace the fight. "Sarah," he began, a serious note piercing his usual upbeat demeanor. "What if we didn't just accept this? What if we fought back?" Her brow furrowed, disbelief shadowed across her delicate features. "Fight back? Against a corporation? They have endless resources, money, lawyers. We've barely scraped by." He leaned closer, every word intentional. "But we have something they don't. We have the community. If we rally everyone, show them what Marges means, we can save this place. It's worth fighting for." For a moment, doubt flickered in her eyes, but then determination surged through. "You mean like a campaign? Gather signatures? Make noise?" Tom nodded, the excitement bubbling within him. "Exactly. We'll start small. Bring the town together. We can tell our story, share why this diner matters." The fire ignited in her gaze, blending with the spark of hope. "And what do you expect? A town meeting? Hand out flyers? Why not? Think of it as a way to show everyone what we have to lose." He paused, searching her eyes. "And what you have to gain? Your strength is part of this. We need you." She hesitated for a heartbeat, the weight of responsibility colliding with her doubts. Then, slowly, she seemed to exhale her fears, her shoulders relaxing. "All right. I'm in." Tom couldn't contain the grin spreading across his face. The burden he felt all day lifted, replaced by a feeling of camaraderie and purpose. "We'll make a plan. A real one. Let us get the community together this weekend. If they hear from us, if they feel it, they'll stand with us." In the ensuing days, they started gathering support, under the cover of small meetings and whispered hopes. Word began to spread, and soon the diner buzzed with a new energy. It wasn't just a fight for bricks and mortar anymore, it was a fight for their identity, their stories, their life. However, early one morning, a shadow swept over their plans. A slick corporate representative strolled into the diner, all smooth edges and polished demeanor. He approached Tom with a proposition that threatened to tear apart everything they'd been building, a buyout offer that dazzled but concealed grim truths. Tom's heart sank. Could he trust Sarah with this delicate vulnerability? Would revealing this put their hard-earned coalition at risk? The fork in the road lay before him, and the choice ahead had never felt heavier. Would he choose to confront the threat or protect the ember of hope he had found in Sarah? Tom's heartbeat thrummed loudly in his ears as he stared at the representative. The man's slick suit and well-rehearsed smile felt like a betrayal in the sanctuary of Marges Diner, a place built on the raw honesty of life's ups and downs. The corporate man was the embodiment of everything they were fighting against. "What's the offer?" Tom managed to ask, his voice barely concealing his unease. The representative slid a glossy brochure across the table. "This diner could be a sparkling location for our brand. We'll buy you out for a price that would make it easy for you to move on. Start anew. Start anew." The words felt acidic in Tom's mouth. "This place is our home. It's where memories are made." "Exactly." The man leaned in, his eyes narrowing slightly. "And that's why it's perfect for us. We'll keep some nostalgia intact, paint a few walls, but the essence. That's just business." He could feel Sarah's eyes boring into him from behind the counter. She was watching, waiting to see what he'd do. He didn't want to find himself caught in this web, but the offer wasn't just enticing for him. It echoed the dream of many in the diner whose lives were tightly tied to those very walls. "Look," Tom said, trying to drown out the lust for a quick escape, "I'll think about it." "Take your time," the man said, leaving the brochure behind. "I'll be in touch." The moment he left, Tom turned to Sarah, who stood with arms crossed, an unreadable expression on her face. "We can't let this happen," she said, her voice firm. You saw how he tried to frame it. If we accept that, we're giving up. We can't let them win. I know, he replied, running a hand through his hair. But, this isn't just my decision anymore. Everyone's counting on us. Sarah's face softened, the fire in her gaze flickering to a dull glow. Then we need to gather them all. Now. We can't let the hope we've built fade before it even begins. Tom nodded, resolution filling him again. You're right. We have to be visible. Call a meeting tonight, at the diner. Everyone needs to know we're not just going to roll over. As evening descended, they spread the word. The diner buzzed with activity, transforming into a gathering place of determination. Regulars filtered in, filling the seats with their body heat and shared energy. Conversation swelled, hope igniting beneath the fluorescent lights as they set to talk about the looming threat. All right, everyone. Tom raised an arm to garner their attention. We're here because Marge's isn't just a restaurant, it's our lifeline. We've got a fight on our hands, and we need to be ready. Applause echoed lightly, uncertainty dancing between the patrons. But just as momentum built, a voice emerged from the crowd, a familiar, stern one. And what do we stand to gain if we fight? We've all seen families come and go. What's different now? It was Jim, a frail but fierce local who had seen countless establishments shudder. Tom inhaled deeply, his vision sharpening. Because we're not just fighting for food and drink. We're fighting for connection. For every first date, birthday celebration, and family reunion that took place here. This place carries our stories. We owe it to ourselves to not let it die. Hope surged throughout the room like an electric current. Murmurs of agreement rippled. Then the doors swung open with a jangle of bells, cold air sweeping in along with unexpected figures, a group of younger locals carrying a protest banner emblazoned with Save Marge. They rushed in, not knowing their arrival would ignite a fire that united everyone present. Tom felt strength course through him, but as he shared hopeful looks with Sarah, doubt slithered back in. Night surrounded them, and within him, he struggled with an impending dread. As excitement thrummed in the air, Tom realized the stakes were higher than he ever could have imagined. But before he could share his concerns, a voice rang out, echoing from the back. What if we take it directly to them? What if we go to the city council? The question hung heavily, a challenge seemingly both exhilarating and terrifying. Tom exchanged glances with Sarah, pondering the weight of the choice before him. Would they dare to dive deeper into the heart of the fight? The room fell silent, the weight of the question hanging in the air like the scent of fresh coffee. Tom felt a rush of adrenaline. To the city council? He echoed, half in disbelief, half in growing excitement. You really think they'd listen to us? What do we have to lose? Joan, a sprightly high school teacher, chimed in. If we just sit back, we'll be swallowed whole. By fighting, we're standing for something. Tom glanced at Sarah, who nodded firmly. He could see the fire returning to her eyes. She's right. If we get to the council, if we show them how important this diner is, they might actually listen. The young protesters rallied behind them, their energy intoxicating. We can organize a march, gather petitions, anything it takes, said one of the group, a tall guy named Aaron. We're all frustrated. Let them know we're not okay with losing our community. The diner felt like a cauldron of hope, billowing with plans and dreams as people started throwing out ideas. Flyers, social media campaigns, rallies, it all began to blend into a cacophony of determination. The chatter echoed off the walls, each shout of encouragement molding their resolve into something solid. But Jim, still sitting with his arms crossed, ran a weathered hand over his chin. Let us not forget, they have power. Money. Connections. We're just, what? A bunch of sentiment. Disappointment stung at Tom's heart. Was there truth in Jim's words? No, he said, shaking his head. We are much more than that. We're their constituents. We represent the heartbeat of this town. In numbers, there's power. The crowd murmured in agreement, the tension breaking like a wave crashing against the shore. A decision had been made. As they began drafting a plan, Tom's mind raced. He could feel the stakes climbing, visions of what could happen if they lost Marge S, engulfing him, an empty lot where laughter would be silenced, memories washed away like a fading photograph. Suddenly, Sarah shot him a look, her brow furrowing. Tom, what if your parents found out about this? You've always been the one to stay out of trouble. Tom straightened up, suppressing a sigh. They may not agree with me trying to go against the establishment. But if I don't do this, then what am I standing for? Their sacrifices taught me to fight for what I believe in. That's right. Joan agreed, clapping her hands together. Your family's legacy is in this place, Tom. That legacy deserves a voice. Fired up, Tom turned back to the crowd, then let's make a plan right here, right now. We'll create a committee, spread the word, and stand united before the city council. Who's with me? Cheers erupted, voices rising together in a chant of solidarity. As the crowd broke into smaller groups to brainstorm ideas, Tom caught a glimpse of Aaron's banner fluttering near the door. Save Marge S. It proclaimed boldly. It was a rallying cry that wrapped around him like a warm embrace, pressing the weight of hope against his chest. But as the night wore on, a creeping doubt began to surface again. What if their fight was doomed to fail? What if their efforts were met with indifference? The doubt twisted like a knife through his gut as he caught glimpses of everyone's excitement surrounding him. Then, as the meeting continued, Tom felt a slight tap on his shoulder. It was Sarah, her face serious. Tom, can we talk for a moment? He nodded, and they stepped outside, the night air cool against their flushed cheeks. Something doesn't feel right, she said, her voice low. What if the council doesn't only reject us? What if they actually make a move to shut us down? There's more at stake here than just fighting back. The tension in the air thickened, and for a moment, Tom found it hard to breathe. Could they really face such harsh consequences? As fear threatened to shadow their resolve, Tom held tightly to Sarah's gaze. Whatever happens, we face it together. But the way her lips pursed told him that even she could sense the storm brewing just on the horizon. And as the night wrapped around them, he wondered, without knowing it, if they were about to step not only into the council chamber but into the fight of their lives. The cool air felt electric as Tom and Sarah stood outside the diner, the bustling chatter from inside gradually fading into a murmur. All around them, the stars twinkled above, like silent witnesses to the moment brewing beneath them. The weight of what lay ahead felt almost unbearable. I just can't shake the feeling that we're stepping into something bigger than us, Sarah confessed, her voice choked with emotion. Marge isn't just a diner. It's a lifeline for so many people here. If we lose it, what does that mean for our community? For everyone who has ever walked through those doors? Tom could see the fear mixing with determination in her eyes. I know, he said softly, grasping her hand. But that's exactly why we need to fight. It's not just about the diner, it's about all of us coming together. A flicker of hope sparked in Sarah's gaze. But what if it brings backlash? What if it changes everything even between us? He felt his heart leap at her words. Could this fight disrupt their bond? The last thing he wanted was to lose what they had. You mean more to me than any diner, Sarah. We've faced tough moments together before. This one feels no different. Just then, the din erupted once more as Joan burst through the door, waving a stack of flyers like they were badges of honor. I just printed 100 of these. We're ready to spread the word. The more people know, the stronger we become. The wind fanned the papers, sending a few fluttering to the ground. They rushed to collect them, laughter mingling with the worry in the air. It was a moment of levity that felt like an anchor in this storm of uncertainty. Throughout the night, more people trickled toward the diner, energized by the idea of taking a stand. The weight of apprehension started to lift, replaced by a sense of purpose that threaded through their community. Tom couldn't help but feel that maybe, just maybe, they had a fighting chance. As they gathered near the diner's entrance, Tom ventured a glance and noticed Jim standing at the back of the group, his hesitant posture in stark contrast to the enthusiasm radiating from the others. "Why don't you join us, Jim?" Aaron called out, motioning him closer. Jim shrugged. "I'm just trying to be realistic. You all might be jumping into a losing battle. Or maybe we're the ones who do something about it," Joan shot back, her resolve unwavering. "If we stay quiet and let fear dictate our lives, we'll lose everything. Every single one of us has a stake in this." That seemed to cut through Jim's hesitation, a shadow of doubt flickering away for just an instant. Tom noticed the softening of his features and felt a swell of hope again. Maybe Jim needed this just as much as they did. As the night began to wrap up, they formed a circle, hands grasping one another, sealing their vow to save Marge. "We're strong together," Tom declared, heart pounding in his chest. "No matter what, we won't back down." Applause erupted. The night swirled with excitement, all mingled with an underlying tension that loomed like a storm cloud above. They had ignited a fire that burned bright, but would it be enough to confront the powers looming ahead? As Tom met Sarah's eyes once more, he caught a glimpse of fear and resolve all at once. "Whatever comes, we keep the faith. Together." But as they released their hands, a rustling behind them stopped everyone in their tracks. A dark SUV pulled into the diner's lot, headlights flooding over the group. Voices hushed, and the air grew heavy with apprehension. "Who's that?" someone whispered. Tom's heart sank, each tick of anticipation echoing louder than the last. Was this the beginning of their fight or an unwelcome warning that the real battle was about to begin? The SUV's engine idled ominously, its headlights casting long shadows across the parking lot. Tom felt his heartbeat quicken, a pulse of anxiety racing through him. Who could it be? Whispers danced around the crowd like fireflies in the night. Some exchanged nervous glances, while others squinted toward the vehicle, trying to decipher the intent of its arrival. Sarah moved closer to Tom, her grip tightening around his arm. "Maybe it's just passing through," she suggested, though the hint of uncertainty in her voice betrayed her hopeful facade. Tom shook his head, his instincts sharpening. "I don't think so. Not at this hour." The figure behind the wheel switched off the engine. The quiet hum subsided, giving way to an unsettling stillness that wrapped around them. As the driver's door swung open, the light spilled out, illuminating a tall woman with sharply styled hair and an air of authority. "Everyone, stay calm," she called out, her voice laced with a professional tone, but the underlying edge set every nerve on high alert. "Who are you?" Jim finally stepped forward, his earlier hesitation washed away by a wave of brave curiosity. The woman offered a calculated smile before lifting a clipboard from the passenger seat. "I'm here on behalf of the new owners. Let us say I have some news." Collective gasps rippled through the crowd. The new owners were the ones everyone feared, corporate giants renowned for tearing down local gems in their quest for profit. Tom's stomach dropped. "What do you want with Marge?" The woman cocked her head slightly, studying them with an assessing gaze. "I think it's best we take this conversation inside." This invitation caught them off guard. The diner had been their safe haven, a meeting place for solidarity and dreams of change. What could she want that couldn't be shared on the front steps? Tom looked at Sarah, who remained resolute. She gave the tiniest of nods, signaling her trust in him. As they moved toward the entrance, a hushed tension covered them. Would they hear words that could crush their budding hopes, or would their faith in each other hold strong? Inside, the diner felt different. The neon signs buzzed above, but the warmth of the place was quickly overshadowed by the looming reality of external forces closing in. The regulars, eyes wide and glancing, sensed the shift. "Gather around," the woman commanded, and they complied, forming a fragile semicircle around the booth where she perched like an authoritative bird. "I'm here to assess, evaluate." She paused, her eyes scanning their faces. "And possibly buy this establishment out." "Not a chance." Someone shouted from the back, igniting a chorus of shouts. "Wait. Let her speak." Joan pushed through the crowd, her passion igniting like gasoline on fire. This wasn't just about Marge S., it was about every voice in that diner. "Thank you," said the woman, a flicker of respect touching her features. "But what you all may not understand is we have a plan. A plan that could benefit you." Tom's jaw tightened. "How could anything good come from you?" The woman took a breath, and it felt like the world stopped for a moment. "It's simple. We want to rebrand, but we need you." "Need us?" Sarah echoed, confusion dawning on her. "Yes, your stories, your community spirit, it's the heart of this diner, and it's what we're looking to preserve. In exchange, we can invest heavily, give you a place that could be even better for your community." Their murmurs filled the air, swirling with disbelief and cautious hope. Would they sacrifice what mattered most for a chance at something more? But as Tom looked around, searching for the same determination that brought them together just moments before, he recognized something deeper at play. What kind of sacrifice? He challenged, the weight of their future hanging in the balance. "We need to know if you're willing to accept change and how far you're willing to go to keep Marge S. alive." His heart raced. Was staying true to themselves and the diner truly an option now, or would they be forced to change under pressure? The silence stretched. And beneath the din of uncertainty, a new urge twisted within him, a mix of resilience and fear. Could they negotiate the terms of their future, or had they just opened the door to a larger fight than any of them anticipated? But before Tom could fully gather his thoughts, a glimmer of defiance sparked in Jim's eyes. Maybe the fight has only just begun. Suddenly, the door swung open again, and a familiar face emerged from the darkness. One that hadn't been seen for months. And with him came the weight of old tensions, ready to stir up even more trouble. What would this confrontation mean for the fight to save Marge S.? As the door creaked open, all eyes turned toward the newcomer. The faint scent of rain followed him inside, mingling with the aroma of coffee and fry grease. It was Eddie, the local artist and the very heart of Marge S., but his face wasn't the same. He looked worn, tired, with shadows under his eyes that spoke of sleepless nights. The collective murmurs in the diner grew into a low hum of confusion and surprise. "Eddie?" Sarah stepped forward, her expression a mix of disbelief and concern. "What are you doing here?" He took a moment, scanning the crowd as if drinking in the familiarity before meeting her gaze. "I heard about the meeting, thought I could help. But it looks like I've walked into a storm." Tom's heart sank. Just when they thought they had enough on their plates, Eddie's sudden reappearance felt like both a blessing and a curse. "What do you mean?" "We're figuring out how to keep Marge S. alive," Tom replied, trying to mask the rising anxiety in his voice. Eddie sighed, running a hand through his disheveled hair. "You don't understand. That woman isn't just here with offers. I've seen the changes they make, how they twist and manipulate what a place represents, for profit." The woman sitting confidently at the booth arched an eyebrow, her demeanor unshaken. "Eddie, you know what we can offer. A chance for this diner to thrive. Why sabotage that?" "Sabotage? Is that what you call it, Rebecca?" His voice was steady, but anger simmered just beneath the surface. "You're trying to erase everything this place stands for, turn it into just another chain with soulless decor." Rebecca's smile faltered, but only for a moment. Then she straightened, her posture tightening with determination. "And what would you have me do?" "We can give the community jobs, support local artists. It's a win-win." The words hung in the air, an unsettling combination of opportunity and manipulation. Tom could see the flickering doubts in the eyes around him. Would they really be willing to throw away their connection to Marge S. for the promise of shiny new things? "Win for you, maybe," Jim muttered from the back. What about us? What about Marge S? That's exactly what I'm saying. Eddie blurted. She doesn't understand. We're not just a business, we're a family. And families don't sell out. The room shook with murmurs of agreement, a swell of inspiration rising to the surface. Tom felt that collective energy. It was familiar, like the warmth of home-cooked meals shared around booths. Sarah stepped forward again, her voice fierce. We want to let you hurt this place, Rebecca. We love Marge S the way it is. If you want to be part of our community, you need to listen to us, not the other way around. Tom watched the tension skyrocket. Would they unite against this new threat, or would uncertainty unravel their unity? Rebecca's eyes narrowed, an unmistakable shift in her demeanor. Then let us put that to the test, she challenged. Let us see how far your loyalty goes when I present you with my offer tonight at 8. You'll have the chance to think it over then. The crowd stared in stunned silence, caught in the whirlwind of confusion. Was that an invitation or a warning? As Tom looked around, he saw fear flicker beneath the surface, but also a fire, a hope that maybe, just maybe this wasn't the end. What if we refuse? Joan finally asked, her voice steady and defiant. What happens next? Rebecca smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Then you'll have no say in what happens to Marge S. Choose wisely. With that, she stepped back, leaving behind a storm of uncertainty swirling in the diner. Tom swallowed hard, feeling the weight of their decision settle heavily on his shoulders. They would need a plan, a way to protect their home without losing themselves in the process. Eddie stepped forward again, his expression resolute. Together, we can fight this. But we have to know what we want first. And as Tom looked around, the faces of his friends reflecting worry, determination, and a hint of fear, he knew that everything was about to change. Would they rise up as a community, or would this be the moment their beloved haven slipped from their grasp? Outside, raindrops began to patter against the windows, a soft reminder of the uncertainty that awaited them. With the clock ticking toward Rebecca's ultimatum, Tom felt time slipping away. How could they prepare for something so uncertain yet inevitable? Eddie turned to him, his voice low but determined. We need a plan, and we need it fast. Are you with me? As the group huddled closer, Tom took a deep breath, ready to dive headfirst into the fight of their lives. But his heart raced with another realization: could they really turn the tide against an unstoppable force? Would they win or lose everything they loved? Tom could feel the electric tension in the air, the kind that felt heavy and almost tangible. He looked into Eddie's eyes, and for a moment, he saw the hope and fear swirling together. The realization hung there, unspoken but felt deeply: this was not just about saving a diner. This was about holding on to their lives, their stories, and what made them a community. Okay, Eddie, Tom said, his voice steadying. What do you have in mind? Eddie took a step back, glancing thoughtfully around the room. We need to show them how much Marge S means to us. Let us bring everyone back together, share our stories, remind them why this place matters. That sounds great, but we need something to back it up, Sarah interjected. A plan, something they can't ignore. Tom nodded. What if we invite the community to share their favorite memories of Marge S? We could organize an event tonight, right before her meeting. Eddie's face lit up. Exactly. We can call it Marge S Memories Night. It'll be a celebration of everything Marge S stands for. We can create a montage of photos, stories, whatever it takes to remind everyone what's at stake. The energy in the group started to build as they discussed the details. Joan suggested reaching out to local musicians for some live music, while Jim focused on decorations that reflected the diner's history. Together, they envisioned a night where not just locals, but everyone, could come and bask in the warmth and love Marge's had given them over the years. But soon, doubts began to creep in. What if no one showed up? What if Rebecca's plan had already begun to sway the crowd? Would this be a celebration or a desperate last stand? The questions gnawed at Tom, his heart pounding. Hey, we've got to believe in this. This is our home, our story, Eddie said, reading the worry on Tom's face. We need to fight for it, even if it feels like a long shot. Tom took a deep breath, letting his friend's determination wash over him. You're right. We'll do it. But we need to spread the word fast. Let's get flyers out, post on the diner's social media, call anyone who cares about Marge S. As they moved into action, the clock ticked on, reminding them of the impending meeting with Rebecca. Reservations filled the air with a tense excitement. Time felt short, yet the echo of shared laughter and stories soon began to fill the diner. As night fell, the diner lit up with the glow of candles and string lights. Memories were shared, laughter bubbled, and soon, Marge S. came alive again. Tom stepped back, watching his friend's expressions bright with joy, glimmering with nostalgia. But just when they thought they had created a fortress of hope, he caught sight of Rebecca standing at the diner's entrance with an air of confidence that cut through the warm atmosphere like a knife. Her eyes scanned the room, finally landing on Tom. There was no mistaking the challenge in her gaze. The atmosphere shifted. The music faded as everyone turned to look. Would tonight be a triumphant stand or simply one last dance before the curtain fell? Tom's heart raced again, the quiet fire inside him igniting. This was it. The moment of truth was upon them. Don't let her take this from us, Eddie whispered, squeezing Tom's shoulder. Tom nodded, fear, hope, and resolve intertwining within him. They had fought too hard to give in now. It was time to show Rebecca just how strong their ties to Marge S. truly were. As she stepped further into the diner, Tom felt another wave of determination swell within him. What was she planning to do tonight? Did she truly think she could break them? Would they find the strength to hold on or surrender before the night ended? The room was thick with anticipation, each moment stretching out like a taut string ready to snap at any time. As Rebecca strode further into Marge's, her presence cast a shadow that dulled the warm glow surrounding Tom and his friends. Her confidence seemed almost a weapon, cutting through the laughter and stories that filled the diner. Tom could feel every eye on him, every heart in the room holding its breath. Rebecca flashed a tight smile. "Isn't this sweet?" she began, her tone dripping with sarcasm. A little throwback to the good old days. But let's be honest. Change is coming, and you all know it. Tom could hear murmurs ripple through the crowd. He could almost taste the uncertainty holding them back, but deep inside him, a fierce light ignited. This was their moment, their chance to remind everyone what Marge's meant beyond just a building. "Maybe you're right, Rebecca," he called out, voice steady but loud enough to reach every corner. "Change is coming, but not without us having a say. This diner isn't just a business, it's our heart. It's where we've had our first dates, celebrated birthdays, shared dreams over coffee." A few nods and quiet agreements rippled through the crowd, enough encouragement to fuel Tom's courage. He stepped forward, his heart pounding in rhythm with the passion bubbling inside him. "People have stories here, stories that matter. We just want to keep those stories alive." Rebecca's expression soured at his words, and for the first time, Tom noticed a flicker of something deeper in her eyes, perhaps doubt mixed with annoyance. But he couldn't stop now. This was bigger than just him or Marge's, it was about all the lives entwined around that place. Eddie joined Tom beside the counter but stayed silent, letting Tom take the lead. Joan, small but fiercely determined, took the initiative next. She climbed onto a chair with a clear view of everyone. "Can I share something?" she called out, and a hush fell over the crowd. Her voice was strong. "The first time I walked into Marge's, I was lost. I had just moved here, didn't know a soul. It was Marge's kindness, a simple cup of coffee and a warm smile that made me feel at home." Her words brought tears to several eyes. Tom could see the impact each shared memory had, each one stoking the fire of determination in the room. One after another, people began to share their stories, golden moments from years past, nostalgic laughter, and the bittersweet acknowledgement of loss. Each tale brought them closer, weaving a tapestry of shared experiences that thickened the air with emotion. But amidst the warmth, Rebecca stood her ground, irritation flashing across her face. "These are just stories," she dismissed, her dismissive tone grating against their resolve. "You can't sustain a business on nostalgia alone." "Maybe not," Tom shot back, stepping forward again. "But businesses should be built on community. And this community will fight for what's rightfully ours." A roar of agreement surged through the diner, shaking off the last threads of doubt. As Tom looked around, he realized the collective strength of voices was becoming a powerful chorus. Even Rebecca was visibly shaken, her air of authority waning as the reality of their bond hit her. Tom took a deep breath, his heart racing, but he pressed on. "We're not backing down without a fight. Marge's is more than just a diner, it's a lifeline, a home where every person counts. And we'll show you just how much." As the strength of their voices united against the weight of her presence, Tom felt a rush of exhilaration and fear all at once. Did they truly have a chance? Would this bond be strong enough to weather the storm? And with that pressing question in the air, the meeting took a turn. Would Rebecca reveal her true intentions, or would the power of their community silence her once and for all? Rebecca inhaled sharply, her expression hardening, eyes glinting like steel. "You think this is about your precious stories? You think emotions matter in this game?" Tom clenched his fists, heart racing. "It's a game for you. But for us, this is life." Silence permeated the diner, every pair of eyes locked onto the confrontation. He could feel the weight of history pressing down generations of laughter, tears, and love. The diner was more than bricks and mortar, it was the essence of their hometown. "Let's cut to the chase," Rebecca continued, her voice cold and calculated. "This is about profit. If you can't understand that, you'll lose everything." Tom took a deep breath, heart pounding. "You might see Marge's as a business opportunity, but for us, it's essential. It's the fabric of our community. You want us to sell out, and we'll never agree to that." Eddie stepped forward, emboldened by Tom's words. "We're not just here to bend to your will. We'll fight you." With determination coursing through him, Tom turned to the crowd. "A diner isn't just a restaurant, it's where we find each other, support one another. If it disappears, so do the connections, the stories, the memories. We're not just here for the food, we're fighting for our home." Circles of applause erupted, their newfound strength echoing against the diner walls. Voices surged, and a chorus of "Save Marge's" rang out, filling the space with resolve. Rebecca watched, the cracks in her poise becoming visible. "If it's a battle you want, then I'll fight you tooth and nail. Just remember, it's not just about you, it's about the money that can change everything for you and your families." Tom felt a shiver run down his spine. "We're prepared to risk it all. We believe it matters more than money. Our spirit isn't for sale." "It's naive," Rebecca countered sharply, frustration leaking into her tone. "This community thrives on business, and without it, you'll be lost." But rather than faltering, the crowd pressed in closer, hungering to stand their ground. Joan raised her voice, determined. "Money doesn't define us. We're here to remind you of the heart behind this diner. The love that built it." Tom turned to Sarah, who stood with fierce determination reminiscent of a lioness. "You know that the heart is worth fighting for. You embraced that warmth, don't let it go, just because someone waving a checkbook walks through the door." In that moment, a spark ignited in Tom's chest. What if we reach out? Mobilize the community? Get everyone to write letters to the city council, share their memories, the impact Marge's has had on their lives. Show them we're more than just a restaurant, we're a legacy worth upholding. A ripple of agreement surged through the diner, like an electric current pooling around one collective thought. "Yes!" came the determined chorus from everyone present. Even Rebecca's cool exterior seemed to flicker, her composure slipping. The mounting tide of emotion was challenging her authority. "Your stories won't cut it," she retorted, but her confidence waned, wavering against their united purpose. "What we plan to do is to take our love and memories and wrap it into a message that cannot be ignored," Tom pressed. "The world needs to see what you're trying to erase. Tonight we'll gather our stories, come back tomorrow, and hold them up as shields against your threat." Joan added, "Let us have a town-wide gathering tomorrow, invite everyone, bring the energy of the community right to the doorstep of the city council. Show them who we are." The diner erupted in applause and shouts of agreement, a collective determination forming around a singular goal, a battle cry for their cherished diner. Rebecca's expression shifted, frustration morphing into something akin to fury. "You're wasting your breath. I'll see to it that none of this affects our plans. But I promise, anything you try will be buried under the weight of dollars. But you can't bury our love," Sarah shouted, passion spilling from her heart. The crowd roared again, standing as a fortress before Rebecca's imposing forces. Time stretched, the air thick with anticipation. Would Rebecca back down, or would the conflict escalate further? Would they stand strong against her or allow doubt to seep in like poison? Tom raised his voice, driven by passion and the urgent need to unite. "There's nothing more powerful than a community that stands together. We won't let fear silence us. If they want to take down Marge, they'll have to face all of us together." Rebecca crossed her arms, the corners of her mouth tightening into a grimace. "You might think you have an army now," she replied coolly, "but those letters and stories won't pay the bills. This is just the beginning." With those words, she turned and strode toward the door, leaving the diner behind her, but not without her shadow lurking ominously in their hearts. As the door swung shut behind her, Tom felt the tension in the air shift. The crowd stood silent for a second, absorbing what had just happened. Each person exchanged lingering glances, reassessing the power they held together, drawing strength from the shared experience that had ignited their spirits. Eddie's voice broke the silence. "We can't let fear override our purpose. Let us make our stories count." Around him, nods of agreement filled the diner, a wave of fire reaffirming their shared commitment. Together, they forged a plan, hands united in shared resolve, hearts swelling with the memories they cherished. This was their moment to rise. As the clock ticked onward, Tom knew they were on the cusp of something monumental. Their fight wasn't finished, it had just begun. And as they stood surrounded in that diner, filled with laughter, warmth, and determination, they would make sure the world heard them roar. They found each other, and nothing could break that bond now. Together, they would protect their diner and the love it held. But the real battle still loomed ahead, a showdown against forces that sought to erase all they had built together. They would meet it head-on. With lifted spirits, they would transform Marge's diner into a symbol of hope, unity, and undying love, declaring without hesitation, "We're here to stay." The future may have looked uncertain, but together they would shape it. As they gathered their stories, voices united and ready to make an impact, time breathed new life into their dreams. This was their story, a heartbeat, a community, an unwavering force for hope. Now, it was time to fight. And with every ounce of passion, they would secure a tomorrow worth fighting for. And as dawn began to break over the horizon, they turned to the new day bursting with possibility. The fight was on. This is the moment to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, it really helps our reach. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. And please, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.